Upon its release in 2011, Eclipse: A New Dawn for the Galaxy was a paradigm shift for the gaming world, a game of spacefaring dominion and interstellar combat that emphasized organic technological development and varying paths to victory. Eclipse received wide critical acclaim for bridging the gap between European and American game design sensibilities, one of the blueprints that heralded hybrid games for years to come. Now, nearly 10 years later, Eclipse has returned to a very different gaming landscape, one partially shaped by its own impact, and yet, while many of its innovations have become expectations within various genres in our hobby, it's the freedom and fluidity of Eclipse that still manages to stand on its own. So let's take a look at what this game is in the first place. Eclipse is a 4X game, which for those of you who don't speak old school PC gaming lingo, that stands for explore, expand, exploit, and exterminate. But calling it 4E would be too simple, and X is objectively the coolest letter in the alphabet, thus 4X. So in these games, to achieve success, you are not just empowered to, but expected in some degree to explore new territory, expand your holdings there, exploit the local resources, and potentially exterminate enemies. What makes Eclipse so special is the latitude through which you can lean into any of these aspects of the game to score points and ultimately claim victory. The core gameplay is action selection and resource management. Your planetary holdings produce money, science, and materials that fuel your capabilities, guided by you at the seat of your galactic empire. During your turn, you select an action, resolve it, and rotate play with fellow players until you choose to pass out of the round. But so long as you have the scratch, you can continue taking actions that build new ships, upgrade your technology, explore neighboring star systems, and confront your enemies. The problem is that the cost of taking actions becomes more and more expensive with each disc you use. This is further compounded by the fact that your action discs are also removed from your pool to establish control in a sector of space, meaning that as the game goes on, you'll have more and more expensive upkeep. It ain't cheap to fund an eternal spacefaring civilization. But if the core gameplay of Eclipse is resource management, the beating heart is the initial and continuous development of asymmetric powers through the various factions and technological upgrades. Each player controls one of 6 alien civilizations, or any or all players can flip over their board and play as humans, basically the vanilla suburbanite civilization. From the fallen empire with its superior combat but lingering debt, to the cyborgs with their uber efficiency, to the fanatics who worship the ancients and can cohabitate with NPCs, each have their own unique persistent effects and loadouts of starting technologies that dramatically influence their play. But these are just starting points. Each round, new technology is drawn that can be researched, unlocking new potential for its possessor. Some give you special bonuses like more efficient actions or access to advanced resource production. Others allow you to upgrade your ships for greater mobility and combative capabilities, and it's the scarcity of these upgrades and the looming presence of threat that drives the beautiful and unique complexity of the game. While participation and hopefully success in combat itself can net points, the 4th X, extermination, is generally a means to an end. Initially, players are cut off from one another, needing to explore space to chart its mysterious territories. As wormholes are connected from tile to tile, you even have a degree in control of blocking access or providing pathways to your neighbors, itself feeling like a microaggression worthy of notice to everyone at the table. But exploration also populates NPC ancients of varying severity, blocking your expansion and hiding unique discoveries, providing a unique technological puzzle to overcome. Whether it's with NPCs or opponents, combat happens one and the same, where opposing ships cohabitating space at the end of a round continue to volley shots at one another until one side proves victorious. And yes, combat in Eclipse is based around dice, but what makes Eclipse so unique is the amount of control that you have in tooling these probabilities. In general, every faction has 3 different classes of mobile ships that can be upgraded to fire more shots, fire more accurately, move more spaces per action, take more hits, reduce accuracy of enemy fire, or even fire stronger blasts. But much of this is limited by the space for upgrades on your ship's blueprint and the amount of energy your ship produces, which itself can be upgraded provided you've researched the tech. Furthermore, every movement, every build, every research and upgrade costs precious resources, and the pool of technology that populates means that your own approach to combat may be different than your opponent's. Maybe you have limited damage output but rely on extreme likelihood to hit, or maybe you have space behemoths that are so armor-plated that they can take wave after wave of damage until they manage a success. And if you upgrade to overcome these ancients, opponents notice. They upgrade in their own unique ways in the event that it ever comes to a brawl. Or maybe it doesn't. Maybe they create a blockade of smaller ships to ensure you can't invade their territory. Or maybe they'll develop a counter to your own strategy. Or maybe they'll even offer a non-aggression pact, allowing you to easier pursue the center guarded by the Mamothian Galactic Defense NPC. It's this sort of Cold War and escalation of power as you pursue your own ends that drive interaction. Inter-player combat may happen, but until the final couple of rounds it tends to be pretty minimal, too risky to pick a fight unless it's over particularly advantageous regions, or you just left yourself too vulnerable. But that's what I love about Eclipse. Even if there's a tenuous standstill by opposing forces, the game provides meaningful challenges to overcome. The ancient ships are often as threatening as those controlled by other players. There's territory to explore, new discoveries to obtain, and technology to research, making your economic and militant dominion more profitable and secure. All of this builds to the 8th and final round, where players tend to make bigger gambits, resulting in massive power exchanges. Whether you've set up defensive barriers to securely build point-bearing monoliths, sweep up massive amounts of tech to get point rewards from tech trees, or wrestle away valuable territory at the center, tensions are high, and every action you take informs the possibilities and risks available to everyone else. That said, this game won't be for everyone. No matter how much mitigation there is, luck, be it from the draw of system tiles to just bad rolls in a critical confrontation, will play a factor. And there are so many nuanced systems in Eclipse, ranging from formalized diplomacy to pinning moving ships, to low-power reactive actions after passing out of a round, to specialized technologies that defy fundamental aspects of the game. Though the core aspects of action selection and resource management remain intuitive and precise in a way that feels remarkably elegant for so much subtlety and overhead. Almost 10 years later, Eclipse remains one of my absolute favorite games, and it's incredible that this new edition preserves that core identity of the game while feeling aesthetically modern in a way that the original never really did. With beautifully upgraded visual presentation, fine-tuning of rules like further incentivizing early passing and reducing the number of rounds from 9 to 8, a consolidation of some of the best concepts from old expansions like the mega-powered blue cannons, and some desperately needed organizational tools to make managing the game so much easier, this new release is everything this game should be. But even with that polish taken away and the legacy of its impact removed, at its core, Eclipse remains a beautiful anomaly, a true 4X game empowering you to cultivate an empire through a fluid mix of exploration, expansion, exploitation, and extermination, organically responding to adversity, threat, and potential in ways unlike anything else that has come out to date. If you enjoyed this video, we have all kinds of other reviews, interviews, and recommendations via writing, podcast, and video here on our channel and website cardboardherald.com. Our content is audience supported, so if you want to show your support, please visit our Patreon. Thank you so much for watching. This has been the Cardboard Herald.